Hello, everybody. Nice to see everybody. Welcome to the annual Legal Outreach Benefit. My name is 42 years this organization has been in existence, 40 with Mr. James O'Neill, who's sitting right there, a legendary figure, and the last few with an equally amazing steward of the organization, Tamika Edwards. My name is Steve Cooper. I'm a litigation partner here at Reed Smith, and I've been involved in the organization for about 30 years, believe it or not. And we at Reed Smith have hosted the benefit 3 times, and we're very, very honored to do it again tonight. And the reason we do it is because this organization makes a tremendous difference. It has tangible results. It serves and gives opportunities to underserved communities in a very, very significant way. We have students who have come through this organization now for 40-odd years. Many of them are at law firms, accounting firms, businesses, have kids. It's actually quite remarkable. The number, including this year, 1,045 students have come through this organization. And about 80% of them finish college. And I submit to you that would not be the case without the rigorous programs that Legal Outreach offers. And they are rigorous. It's not for every kid. You have to have the support of your parents, your community, and a lot of times kids just don't want to be there. They want to be playing ball or doing something else. But at the end of the day, it makes a tremendous difference in their lives. And all of you tonight, we thank you for your support. It keeps the organization going. It keeps the organization growing. And we would ask you to be generous tonight with your support, because there's few organizations that are going to have the punch that this one is. So with that, we have a wonderful program for you. We have very deserving, very fun and interesting honorees tonight. And I think we're going now to a video. Thank you.
Legal Outreach, a galaxy of excellence.
In 1983, a vision was born to harness the law, not as a profession, but as a pathway. Legal Outreach began with a simple yet profound mission to prepare urban youth in New York City for higher education, professional careers, and community leadership. The journey starts with the Summer Law Institute, a 5-week program in partnership with 6 law schools, immersing 8th graders in the world of law and inspiring them to strive for academic excellence. Upon completion, students enter the College Bound program, a 4-year intensive academic skill development and support initiative designed to prepare them for the rigors of college. The results speak volumes. 100% of the college-bound participants graduate high school in 4 years. 98% matriculate to 4-year colleges, and 79% attend most highly and very competitive colleges and universities. Alongside our students stand the partners, supporters, sponsors, alumni, volunteers, and families whose dedication fuels every step of this journey. Legal Outreach raises the bar to illuminate pathways and, with your support, shape futures.
My name is Tamika Edwards, Executive Director here at Legal Outreach, not here, but at Legal Outreach. And it is my pleasure, my honor to also welcome you here. Thank you, Steve. This feels like benefit home. This is very familiar territory, familiar space for us, and so we thank you and your team for being so gracious to us and for welcoming us here once more. So if you've paid attention to some of the details that we have here, you'll see that we are trying to magnify the idea, the concept of light, and not just the concept of illumination, but also of hope. Light pushes back darkness. It penetrates murky waters. It reveals potential, and it helps chart the course for those who dare to traverse an uncertain, unpredictable path toward their future. We are unfortunately living in a time where there are forces that are trying to cast shadows on the path. The climate has become more conducive for the formation of fog, which obscures vision and dims hope, making it more difficult for those who have embarked on the journey to see what's possible, to stay the course, and to believe that the destination is within reach. Now more than ever, clarity, conviction, commitment, and investment are essential. Legal outreach remains steadfast in its call to be light bearers. And we will remain true to the call so long as we exist, because we have evidence that our model works, that what we have done for over 40 years works, and that beginning in 1983 with our founder, James O'Neill, is not just performative, but what we're doing is transformative. We've learned that when you invest deeply in young people, some of whom who have been on an obstacle course for most of their lives, not only do they learn to navigate the path, they learn to rise above it and find themselves in this galaxy of endless possibilities. I know that you spoke to some of our students, some of our current students, and some of our alumni, and you bear witness to their accomplishments. And the results speak for themselves. Many would tell you that but for legal outreach, they would not be where they are today. But the truth is that we cannot, and we never have done it on our own. It has always taken the work of the collective. Several people who are in this room and some who could not join us tonight have remained in our orbit, steadily revolving around our mission when we need them most. I want to give special recognition to those who have supported us at the highest levels, beginning with our Beacon supporters, our Alaga Foundation, and New York Life. Our Beam supporters, Clary Gottlieb, Doug and Kate Bacon, Ariel Property Advisors, and Reed Smith. Our Torch supporters, Sidley Austin, the Bingaman Foundation, Herbert Smith, Freehills Kramer, James and Madeline McClammy, Patterson Belknap, and Proskauer. And our Lantern supporters, Morrison and Forrester Foundation, Ropes and Gray, Melvin Rosa, Bill and Holly Russell, Kevin Tagami, and Simpson Thatcher. So many other firms, companies, and individuals have added their light to ours, joining our galaxy of supporters. They allow us to keep our mission central, momentum strong, and programs thriving. Chief among them are our board chair, Galen McGowan, and our entire board, as well as our ad board chair, Bill Russell, and our advisory board, These are the people who show up, advise, encourage, leverage their influence, and generously invest in our mission. And finally, the reason we exist is to serve students, those currently rising through the ranks and those who have gone before them, who shine as living proof of what's possible when vision is fostered and potential is nurtured. I want to ask, because I see so many of them, ranging from 1993 to 2005. I want to ask our students and our alumni if you can just stand so we can see who you are. Yes. Yes. Oh, that makes me so proud. Tonight is about you, your journey, your resilience, and your bright futures. But tonight is also about honoring the individuals whose extraordinary commitment and service helped to shape those futures. Those are none other than our honorees. We thank all of you. So you all are in for a treat tonight, so listen, learn, and enjoy as we celebrate the stars among us. Thank you.
So my name is Galen McGowan. I'm chair of the board of directors at Legal Outreach, as Tamika mentioned. And this is Bill beside me. But on behalf of the board of directors, welcome to Legal Outreach's 42nd annual benefit. First, let me thank Steve. Where's Steve? Let me thank Steve and Reed Smith for hosting the benefit. You know, whenever we need Steve, he's there. So definitely thank you. I also want to thank the LO Benefit Committee and all the LO staff members who worked tirelessly to make this event a reality. If you are in the audience and you helped plan this, please stand up. So let me also thank, or take a few seconds to recognize my fellow board members who are here tonight. I think everybody's here except for Erica. She's out of the country. But when I call your name, if you could please stand. Tamika, stand up. Our founder, Mr. O'Neill James. The most important person at Legal Outreach, Bathsheba. Nikki, I know, is sitting right behind me there. Nikki Sheets. Catherine Frank Hamlet. Catherine, there she is. Maria Santana Guadalupe. And last but not least, Mike Henry. So I've been associated with Legal Outreach since 1984, actually a year after Legal Outreach was founded by James. When as a second-year law student, I signed up to teach law-related classes to middle school students in Harlem and Bed-Stuy. So as I was thinking last night about my long association with LO and what my remarks would be tonight, I thought about the power of Legal Outreach, the power that it's had over the last 40-plus years to change the lives of students, their families, and their communities. I want to give you a couple of examples of what I mean. First example is actually our public service honoree, Sandy Santana. Sandy was in the first graduating class of LO's College Bound program. Graduated from college, went on to law school, had a distinguished legal career at 2 large law firms, and then decided that he wanted to make a difference and give back to the community. Currently serves as the executive director of the Children's Rights. So when I think about Sandy, I think about the power of Legal Outreach. Second example is LO alum Asatu Berry. Is she here? Okay, she's not here. I've actually never met her, but I've heard about her, and I've heard her speak. So she spoke recently at an LO event, and she talked about her experience in the LO summer law program at Brooklyn Law School as a rising ninth grader years and years ago. She recounted how she was recently at Brooklyn Law School and saw rising ninth graders walking in the hallways heading to a classroom. She said it brought back memories of when she was a rising ninth grader in the summer law program at Brooklyn Law School. Now, the reason Miss Berry was at the law school and saw those LO summer law students is because she's currently a noted civil rights lawyer, and get this, a tenure-track professor now at Brooklyn Law School. So again, the power of legal outreach. So I could give you 1,000 more examples, but let me just say that in this current climate where we're witnessing an assault on opportunity, LO stands as a shining example that if you open up opportunities to deserving students, they will achieve and they will positively impact their communities. And before I turn it over to Bill, let me just recognize one person here tonight, and that's my good friend, Peter Moulton. Actually, Justice Peter Moulton. Peter and I were in the same law school class at Columbia, and indeed, we were on the same journal. Peter and I, actually, in the mid-'90s, when we both practiced here in New York, we would get up at 5:30 in the morning and run in the park, if you remember that, Peter. Let me just say that if I ever move back to New York, we can meet at 5:30 again, but we can't run anymore. I'm done running. So on that note, let me turn it over to Bill.
Thanks, Gil. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bill Russell. I'm chair of the advisory board of Legal Outreach, and I'm honored to be up here with Galen, representing, I guess, what we're now calling the Celestial Council. I've been called many things in the past 60 years. But this is the first time I've been called Celestial. So thank you, Tamika. Tamika told me I've only got 2 minutes, so that basically gives me time to say some thank yous. First of all, and most importantly, I want to thank all of you for coming here to help us celebrate the 42nd anniversary of this tremendous organization, and for helping to support the mission of Legal Outreach. I want to thank James O'Neill for getting me involved with Legal Outreach back in the fall of 1987 when I was a first-year law student coaching a mock trial team. I want to thank Tamika and the staff of Legal Outreach for their tireless support of the students. I want to thank Steve Cooper and the Reed Smith firm for repeatedly making this wonderful venue available to us for this celebration. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our honorees, Mike McDonald, the General Counsel of New York Life, and a huge supporter of Legal Outreach, Justice Peter Moulton, who's not just one of the finest appellate judges in the state, and I say that not just because the last time I argued in front of a panel in which he was on, he ruled in my favor, but because he is generally acknowledged as that, and also as someone who has demonstrated his commitment over the years to the young people of the city and to educational issues. And finally, my good dear friend Sandy Santana, who, as you heard, is not just the executive director of Children's Rights, but a member of the inaugural college-bound class of Legal Outreach. I also want to give a shout out to the advisory board for all that you do to help out and support the work of Legal Outreach. My fellow ad board members, can you stand up and wave? So, you know, as a lawyer, it's always hard for me to give up the podium and stop speaking. So, but before I give up the podium, I do want to encourage those of you who are new members of the Legal Outreach family to get involved, whether it's making a financial donation, hosting a summer internship at your firm or place of business, or serving as a mentor. Speaking from personal experience, when you make an investment of money, or more importantly, time in Legal Outreach, it's an investment that pays incalculable returns. So thank you, everybody.
What does a beacon of justice look like at Legal Outreach? It looks like a guiding light, steadfast, clear, and unwavering in its pursuit of fairness. This year's special judicial honoree, the Honorable Judge Peter Moulton, has been that beacon. Through his integrity, leadership, and enduring support of legal outreach, he's helped illuminate pathways for young people navigating their future in law and in life.
I first met Justice Moulton in 2019 after I applied to be his assistant law clerk. And what drew me to apply to him was, as I was researching judges and who I'd be interested in clerking for, I noticed that he had a true commitment to equal justice and making sure that everyone was welcome in the legal profession.
So my familiarity with Justice Moulton is that he is an incredible person that I had the honor and the privilege of working with when I, out of law school, I read up on Judge Moulton. I saw that he was somebody with clarity and compassion, recognizes the decency in all people and wants to vindicate their rights by letting them be heard and by letting them be seen.
I first became connected to legal outreach when my friend Steve Cooper, who's a partner at Reed Smith, brought a cohort of students to my courtroom early in my judicial career. They watched oral argument, and afterwards they asked terrific questions, and they were young, these students. I think it was a 9th grade group. So after that, I learned that one of my classmates at law school, Lorraine McGowan, had been involved with the group from the get-go, and that was another endorsement of it.
He always has time to assist with resume reviews, with court tours, with art contests, and any other endeavor the court is taking on. And that is similar to, I believe, the work that legal outreach does, which is fostering an interest in young people to pursue the legal profession.
Okay. Well, it's an absolute honor to be recognized by legal outreach. I don't feel like I've reached the status of beacon yet. I'm more like a flashlight or a headlamp. But I'm so happy to partner with Legal Outreach because it's an organization that really addresses inequality in our society. And our society is riven with gender inequality, racial inequality, ethnic inequality, economic inequality. Legal Outreach tries to ameliorate some of those inequalities and brings resources to students who don't have the resources I had when I was growing up. And I think that's immensely important.
Justice Moulton, congratulations on a very well-deserved award. I was so happy to hear that you were receiving it and to have the chance to participate in this tribute video for you, because you are just such a remarkable, kind, compassionate human, and were an amazing boss. And I was so thankful that you were always encouraging me to pursue my interests and my passions, and also for giving me amazing opportunities while I worked for you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and congratulations.
Judge Moulton, you are somebody who I'm so profoundly grateful to know, and somebody who I have such profound respect for. You are a judge who not only listens to arguments, but to people. And in doing so, you remind us all that the rule of law is not some cold abstraction, but a living commitment to fairness, to dignity, and to the shared values of our society.
I've had the good fortune to know Peter and his family for over 20 years. Peter is a highly respected and admired jurist on the Appellate Division First Department. But besides that, Peter is very committed to social causes and is always dedicating himself to legal outreach. Whenever asked, Peter will make himself and his courthouse available to legal outreach students. Peter believes it's very important for young people to understand the judicial process and appreciate exactly how it works. Peter is very deserving of this honor. Congratulations, Peter.
In honoring Judge Peter Moulton as our special judicial honoree, we recognize a beacon whose light reaches far beyond the bench. Thank you, Judge Moulton, for showing us how justice, when guided by compassion and clarity, can truly illuminate the path forward.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Julia Wasik. I'm a freshman in high school, but more importantly, a proud participant in the Legal Outreach College Bound program. Today, I have the honor of presenting the Judicial Champion Award to Judge Peter Moulton. Last summer, I had the pleasure of walking into the New York Supreme Court Appellate Division during my SLI experience. In such a prestigious and valuable building, Judge Moulton made us feel welcomed. He made us think that someday we too could belong in such a space. Judge Moulton has opened more than just the doors of his courtroom to legal outreach students. He has opened our minds to the possibilities of a legal career. Whether it was welcoming rising freshmen for the Summer Law Institute field trips, hosting rising sophomores for internship program visits, or helping students through debate preparations, Judge Moulton has always been there and made us feel that we belong in these spaces. So thank you, Judge Moulton, for your generosity, encouragement, and belief in us. On behalf of all the students whose lives you've touched, it is my honor to present to you this year's Judicial Champion Award.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I just want to thank this amazing organization, Ms. Edwards, Mr. O'Neill, my buddy Steve Cooper, and all of you for all the work you do for this organization, which is really just I don't know, just really moves me, but the work that you do. So thank you very much for this award, and have a great evening. Also, I want to thank my co-honorees, of course, Mike and Sandy, too, for getting their awards. Thank you all very much.
I've been involved with legal outreach for almost 20 years at this point. It's an organization I was introduced to while I was a corporate lawyer at the law firm. And when I came over to New York Life, understanding the sort of long-term goals of educating the students in New York City and New York Life's long-term goals of providing for the future of our policyholders, it felt like a good combination.
Through the great work of my colleagues and legal outreach who created this summer educational process, or these sessions we have during the summer, I began participating in them several years ago, and it's one of the highlights of my work summer experience.
I came to know legal outreach as soon as I joined New York Life about 9 years ago. We were told about the high school event where they come in and do a little bit of a contract negotiation, and I will say I was hooked.
I had the privilege of learning about legal outreach as co-chair of the Diversity Committee at New York Life. New York Life has a long-standing partnership with legal outreach, and every year our attorney volunteers sign up to help the students from legal outreach learn more about the legal profession.
One of the really great things about New York Life is its support of educational initiatives, and I think that comes across in our relationship with legal outreach.
We do these summer educational sessions where the young people from legal outreach come join us. We have lunch. We go through a hypothetical fact pattern that a lawyer might encounter and get into an advocacy situations.
So, having been involved in a number of pipeline programs over the years, and also through New York Life and its foundation, it's sort of been the focus that middle school and high school are where you really need to start to make a difference in people's lives and their trajectories.
With great power and knowledge comes responsibility, and volunteering and giving back to our community is very important. And what legal outreach does with these students is preparing them to be leaders, to be future lawyers.
It's a great honor for New York Life and Mike certainly to be honored with this award. Humanity is one of our core virtues. You may have heard that in talking to people here. And we all, and particularly Mike in his leadership role, exudes that every day.
Congratulations, Mike. Thank you for all you do for legal outreach, New York Life, and the legal department in encouraging each and every one of us to get involved.
I'd like to say thank you to Legal Outreach. Thank you for allowing us to be part of something greater than ourselves. I thank Mike McDonald for his continued leadership and steadfastness, and really showing us the value of how important it is to give back and to volunteer in our communities.
So, having been a person who's been involved with legal outreach for more than 20 years, seeing the growth and the continued impact that it's had on the various students that have passed through and being impressed by their skill and their engagement, I feel honored to know that New York Life and that Mike McDonald, our general counsel, are being honored with this award. I've seen the dedication of James O'Neill in the past, and now Tamika Edwards, to making sure that you're really creating a pipeline program that has real impact, that changes outcomes, and that produces leaders. And to be involved in something like that is just, it's not just heartwarming, but it really does make you feel like there's hope for the future. And so anything we can do to contribute to that, and just being recognized for having contributed to that in the past, is wonderful.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabriela Ronquillo, a junior in the Legal Outreach College Bound program. Approximately 7 months ago, I stood in a classroom at NYU Law School alongside my debate opponent, Haley Martinez Vasco, who couldn't join us this evening. What made the evening most memorable was the caliber of our judges. Mike McDonald, the General Counsel of New York Life, and the legal team. For those of you who were there, if you recall, I lost that debate. Truthfully, my defeat was disheartening because I felt like I failed to defend my fictional client, James Shepard, who felt deprived of his due process rights. At that time, I thought, if I couldn't defend Shepard, could I be a voice for other defendants that demand justice? In hindsight, being judged by someone who navigates legal complexities at the highest level of corporate leadership was a major moment of growth for me. Mr. McDonald and the team didn't just evaluate our arguments. They posed questions that challenged us to consider how our own arguments intersected with those of the other side, and they challenged us to debate with challenge, empathy, and learning. In just 20 minutes of a debate, they showed me that behind the persuasive voice of a legal advocate is a steadfast pursuit of education. This evening, I'm thrilled to see him here again, not as a debate judge, but as a champion of education. Please join me in welcoming to the stage for a conversation our corporate educational champion, Mike McDonald, Senior Vice President and General Counsel for New York Life. So my first question is, becoming the General Counsel of a Fortune 500 company is a major accomplishment that many aspire to achieve. Can you share the skills and accomplishments that have helped you climb the ladder of success?
Sure, I can share one. So one of the hardest things about my job is also one of the most rewarding things about my job. And that's dealing with things I don't really understand at first blush and having to dive into hard problems. I get new ones every day and I'm never bored. And sometimes I have to live in ambiguity. And I'll tell you, something that inspired me when I was at the debate competition is I saw that same thing happening with the students at Legal Outreach. I saw students engaging with ambiguity, complexity, difficult problems, and it's amazing to see the growth that happens in sessions like those.
I'm glad to hear that the skills that we're learning in LO is also something that's integral to your career, so thank you for that. Prior to joining New York Life as Associate General Counsel in 2013, you worked for a private law firm for 10 years, focusing on various practice areas, including those within the insurance industry. You've certainly put in the time to cultivate a strong work ethic and professional networks, and one might imagine that this has been your goal for some time. Looking back to your teenage years, was your vision set on becoming an attorney? If so, how did you cultivate that vision early on?
So, Gabriella, I'll tell you that when I was a teenager, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And you might say I didn't have a clue, actually. Certainly my mother would tell you that. But what I did have is parents who loved me. I had a sister who inspired more out of me. I had friends who saw me through hardships. I had support. I had people behind me. And that made all the difference for me over time. I did figure it out eventually, and I got a job, my first job out of college as a paralegal, and the rest was history after that for me. And so, again, that reminds me of legal outreach because I was fortunate to have that support growing up, and I see that in legal outreach, and we all at New York Life see that in the events we host, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I feel like my support system throughout my journey of wanting to become a lawyer has also been legal outreach. So I'm glad that that support system has helped you as well. In your current role, you oversee New York Life's Corporate Compliance Department, Office of Governmental Affairs, and Office of the General Counsel. You're leading at one of the most respected financial institutions in the country. What do you believe makes people trust in your leadership?
It's a very kind question. I will say, though, one thing I remember, Gabriella, from November when we were in the debate competition judging, you always addressed the judge's question. But you also, when it made sense, always remembered to question the assumption behind the judge's question and to display that in your answer. It was amazing. And so let me try to do that a little bit. Leadership for me and leadership at New York Life, it's not really about me personally, and that came through in the video. We have a number of people in the audience who work on the legal team, and all of them are leaders. And leadership is about listening and building space for people to grow. And that's what I try to do, but that's what every team member at New York Life tries to do. And again, that's something I see happening at Legal Outreach, and that's how we build great legal talent.
Building a space for people to grow is also how I feel about legal outreach. And your statement, just the fact that you even remembered what I did during the debate that was 7 months ago, is a testament to how you are so committed to helping youth like me. So thank you for that. And on that note, New York Life's commitment to education is truly remarkable. I'll end our interview by saying, on behalf of the legal outreach community, thank you for all your support.
So let me before you end, let me ask you a question. Every time we participate in a legal outreach event at New York Life, me included, all of us are totally inspired by the learning we see, by the talent in the room. It's just simply stunning. And so thank you, and thank you to all the students of Legal Outreach. Why don't you tell me, what has Legal Outreach meant to you? What impact has it had on you and your future plans?
Wow, how much time do we have? I'll try to keep this brief. So, ever since I began the legal outreach program, I always knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. So initially, I saw this program as a means to an end. I always had this vision that I wanted to become this lawyer, this strong lawyer that could practice public speaking and help others, but I didn't see how I could cultivate that vision. So if I were to describe the impact legal outreach has had for me in one word, it would be access. Just being able to speak to lawyers like you and being able to go to professional networking events and being able to debate in front of judges has instilled in me the confidence that I have no limits for what I want to do for my future, and that I'm able to foster a connection with the larger legal world, and I'm not just isolated in the stages of life of being a high school student, then being a college student, then being a law student. I will always have a supportive community behind my back, even when I graduate from high school, that I could say has helped me see that being a lawyer is not just about learning the law, but it's about helping your own community. That's it.
You're here.
Now back to you, Mr. McDonald.
There's no way I'm going to top that. It's amazing. And it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. And I can say with conviction, you have an amazing future in front of you.
Thank you so much. And I could say the same from everyone and all of my peers at Legal Outreach because of your support. So thank you so much, and thank you to New York Life for all your support and contributions to making the vision that Legal Outreach has possible. So now it is my honor to present to you the Corporate Educational Champion Award. Congratulations.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm going to try to embody the poise that you just exuded just now, Gabriella, while I get people to invest more money into legal outreach. But if there was any reason to make deeper investments, I think Gabriella is like the main reason. So just a round of applause for her. So I am here to get you to pledge some additional money. But before I do that, I just want to thank everyone here tonight for supporting legal outreach, whether it was through ticket purchases or through donations or sponsorships. We truly appreciate your generosity. I will say I'm Akilah Brown. I am a proud alum of Legal Outreach. I graduated in 2007, and it's a pleasure to be here to support, to encourage more support. But just to talk to you about what your contributions are generally doing today, they support the overall mission of the organization and the 13 programs in which LO students participate from the end of their 8th grade year through high school graduation. Given that, you might be asking, why should you be giving additional money through this text to pledge portion of the program? Well, we're asking for an additional donation to support a specific program where the budget needs are greater than they've ever been in the past. That program is SAT tutoring, and I'm gonna tell you why. As you know, programs like LOs are under attack and are being eliminated, or are being scaled back, if not outright eliminated. Pullbacks are taking place not just in the workplace, but at our colleges and universities, where admissions policies are being revised due to the Supreme Court affirmative action ruling and the executive branch's attacks on institutions. As a result, we, Legal Outreach, have had to unfortunately tell our students that no favors are being granted, no excuses are being accepted, and therefore, if they want to compete for slots at selective colleges, they must be willing to sacrifice and go the extra mile. We have to tell them that nothing will be given to them. Their SAT scores must be comparable, if not better, than the scores achieved by those coming from more affluent and more privileged backgrounds. That bar, we know, is almost impossible to achieve by oneself. The typical LO student is attending an under-resourced school, living in a neighborhood where there might not be many college graduates, let alone from selective colleges, and is residing in a household where financial resources are extremely limited. Even if they are enrolled in LO and have access to the SAT program, they don't have the resources to pay for the additional tutoring required to achieve higher scores. Without additional assistance, they remain at a distinct disadvantage. LO, even though I know they would want to do this, can't afford to provide students with one-on-one assistance. But the organization is seeking to provide students with small group assistance from capable tutors. Our desire is to create a 1-to-5 tutor-to-student ratio for the 60 students who will participate this summer. To do so, we need to raise at least $20,000. Oh, Perfect, the pledge is up. So let's talk about how these dollars would be specifically put to work. But as I'm speaking, look at that text to give. Just take out your phone, start getting ready to text SAT to 801-801. Your willingness to pledge $75, just $75, will provide 1 hour of high-quality tutoring for 5 students. A pledge of $300 will provide 4 hours of tutoring for those students. A pledge of $1,200, I see some phones coming out, that's right. A pledge of $1,200 will provide 4 days of tutoring for 5 students. And a pledge of $6,000 will provide those 5 students with tutoring for the duration of the 5-week program. You get the point. So those are dollars that will really, really make a difference. And I'll tell you, my own story is a testament to what I'm asking you to do and the payoff that it will generate, which is why I think that they asked me to come up here and speak to you. So I'm gonna speak to you a little bit about how this program has made a difference in my life. So if you attended the alumni reception in February, you heard me say that LO's SAT program and the additional tutoring that was provided to me was a game changer in my life. Due to personal circumstances, I wasn't taking my education seriously and faltered during my high school years, during pivotal high school years, I should say. Achieving a high score on the SAT was my only hope for being in a position to gain admission to a competitive college. And I can say that I worked harder that summer than I ever did, and it paid off. I achieved a score far higher than what my grades would have projected. And actually, learning what I was capable of in that setting gave me the motivation I needed to dig my heels in deeper academically my senior year and beyond. I was accepted into Hobart and William Smith colleges, and I graduated with the 4.0 GPA. After graduating, thank you. After graduating, I started working at Cleary Gottlieb, where I managed a pro bono practice full-time while attending Fordham Law School at night. Upon graduating from law school, I was selected as a Skadden Fellow focused on affordable housing and community development, and afterwards co-founded a foundation called Further Justice, where we help to incubate and fund nascent civil legal services programs. So I'm not sharing that solely as a point of pride, even though I am very, very proud of my trajectory, but more so to really demonstrate the good that can happen when people, meaning you all, I still don't see a lot of phones out, but you all invest in students with potential, but also who really need opportunities. LO's 60 rising juniors need you. Your additional donation tonight to support the SAT program can literally change the lives and trajectories of students like me who will be the beneficiaries of your generosity. So if I haven't convinced you, this is the time to take out your phone and text SAT to 801-801. Please, please give and be the difference maker. Thank you so much.
Sandy Santana is my friend and the best boss I ever had.
Sandy is the kind of leader who changes lives, mine included. He doesn't just talk about giving back or lifting others up. He walks it and lives it every single day.
I've had the privilege of working alongside Sandy for all 10 years of his leadership here as executive director. I could make a lot of jokes about that, but the one reflection I will offer about that experience is how lucky I am.
This moment feels so well-deserved, a full circle moment for Sandy.
The work is hard, it's high risk, it's unrelenting, it's high pressure. And the way Sandy shows up in the day-to-day, calm, clear vision, fierce intelligence, strategic insight, humility, humor, good humor, these qualities are the backbone of our culture here, and they're the backbone of our success at Children's Rights.
Those of us who work with him know the secret to his strength. Sandy doesn't hide his heart.
I've had the privilege of working with him for the past 6 years, and I'm better for it. Sandy, you inspire me, and you deserve this. Congratulations.
I know how much of an impact legal outreach has had on your life and your work, and so it is just so wonderful to see you receive this well-deserved recognition. So thank you for all that you do.
I met James O'Neill, the founder of Legal Outreach, when I was in the 8th grade.
He came into my classroom and turned it into a courtroom. And at some point, he addressed me as Attorney Santana. And that was immensely empowering to me because I had no professionals in my life. And at that moment, I finally had a vision for what my life could be. And I committed to the academic preparation that Legal Outreach offered. Children's Rights uses strategic advocacy and litigation to combat civil rights violations against children in foster, juvenile legal, immigration, healthcare, and education systems. We also believe that children should not be raised by systems, that if children have the right supports and investments, they can thrive in their homes and their communities. Legal Outreach invests deeply in one of the most important things that you can do for children to make sure they thrive, and that's providing them with a high quality education. Education is the great equalizer in our society, and Legal Outreach invests deeply so that children have the skills not only to transform their lives, their families, and communities, but themselves be able to change systems that can be oppressive, systems that can be racist, systems that can keep people down. And that's why I'm so very proud of you. One of the things I learned at Legal Outreach is that you can measure your life and career by whether it honors the sacrifices of those that came before you. I hope that my career in public service honors the sacrifice of my immigrant parents, and that it honors the investment that people like James O'Neill, Bathsheba Cooper, and others at Legal Outreach made in me. I have come full circle in a way, but I'm also honored to receive this because it's not just me. I am part of a family of Legal Outreach alumni that in their own way are using the skills that they developed at this organization to change lives, to change communities, and to change systems. They are doing what I think is something that I hope to do day in and day out, and that's to use my talents to help repair the tears in our society, as Ruth Bader Ginsburg put it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Frank Peralta. I'm honored to stand before you as an alumnus of Legal Outreach from 2003, but also as someone whose life was changed because of the person that I am going to introduce. Sorry. About 20 years ago, I was a teenager, and I was trying to imagine a future beyond the limitations that I saw around me. It was the 90s in Washington Heights. And if you're from New York City and you were around, you knew that was hard. Through Legal Outreach, I was assigned a mentor who saw something in me before I saw it in myself. He didn't just offer guidance, he offered his time, believing in a promising future and a standard to which I could rise. And he did it literally. I remember that he lived about 2 or 3 blocks from where I grew up, back in Washington Heights. And when I practiced this speech, it was different. But you know, it's I feel it that deeply. But anyway, he lived about 2 or 3 blocks from where I grew up, about a block from where my dad had a grocery store. And I remember when I met him, I remember thinking, if he can get out, then I probably could too. Thanks to the foundation and the support of mentors like him, I became a Posse Scholar at Dickinson College. and I graduated cum laude. I built a career in the financial services. Today, I'm an executive director at Nomura Securities and the chief administrative officer to the Global Masters Documentation Team. And that journey, it started in legal outreach, and it started, with the example that that Sandy represented in my life. One of the folks that spoke on the video said, Sandy, doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. He did back then, seems like he's still doing it today. And I'm not, as probably a lot of the kids that he's touched over the years and their lives, not one of the only ones that can say that his life is better because of him. It is my deep privilege to present the Legal Outreach Public Service Champion Award to my LO mentor and someone I continue to admire, Sandy Centeno.
I thought I was going to make it through this without shedding a tear, but that's not going to happen. Legal outreach is always full of surprises, and this one is incredibly touching. Frank, thank you. Thank you for the influence you've had in my life, most importantly. I am so grateful and humbled by this honor because it comes from an organization that fundamentally shaped who I am, what I do, and why I do it. There are so many transformational moments I could share, and you heard one when James came into my classroom. I want to share another one tonight. I was 14 years old when Illo placed me in a summer law internship at a corporate law firm. Just a few days in, a lawyer called me into his office, introduced himself, asked me to sit down, and had me listen in on a conference call. To date myself, there was no email back then. He'd receive a fax with scribbled notes, review it, mark it up, fax it back. He was negotiating an agreement. At one point, he turned to me and said, "Opposing counsel wants to insert this provision. What do you think?" And my heart jumped to my throat, just as it did now. And I started sweating and shaking. I had no idea what I was looking at. And to this day, I still don't know what I said. But he got on the phone and told opposing counsel, "We are not taking that comment because," and it was the reason I had offered, or at least the reason I thought I had offered. That moment filled me with immense confidence. You saw in the video that I wanted to be a lawyer. Then I was all around my neighborhood talking about becoming a corporate lawyer. And I was probably the only one in my neighborhood saying that. That lawyer will never know the impact he had on my life. But that gift of grace, of unearned equality, sparked something in me that helped me blaze an unlikely path from Harlem to Harvard. By investing a little time in a teenager so different from him, he set off ripples that reached far beyond anything he could imagine. The son of Dominican immigrants, a waiter and a homemaid, did go on to become a corporate attorney, and now I lead a national children's advocacy organization. But the ripples, didn't stop with me. Because of that experience and everything Elo poured into me, including Saturday writing class, pivotal, the doors of opportunity swung open, not just for me, but for my children, and God willing, for their children too. Their future is yet unwritten, but I know that they will live lives that will fulfill their grandparents and my grandparents' wildest dreams. That is the transformational, generational power of legal outreach. One person, one small action can spark a transformation that reaches across generations. No grand gestures are needed, just a willingness to invest in someone simply because you see them as worthy. In my career in public service, I try to pour into others each day more than I receive in return. I try to live out the words of Mother Teresa. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Small acts can shape the future of a young person in ways you may never fully see. And in these polarized and fractious times, our future depends on whether we can still see one another and still choose to do the small things with great love. It depends on the hope we inspire in the next generation and the doors we open for them. And if we do that, we are advancing justice. Because justice is not just about sweeping reforms and courtroom victories. It's also about the quiet, daily acts of kindness, compassion, and love that uphold the dignity and worth of every person. So I hope you will continue to invest deeply in the remarkable students of legal outreach. You may just ignite a spark that lights a fire of hope and possibility, one that burns for a lifetime, changes generations, and helps build a more just and equitable world. Thank you.
I don't know if you feel it. My heart is pretty full right now. And my eyes were really filled as well. Thomas, can you please get that? This room is filled with, the folder, with love. It's filled with generosity. It is filled with hope. And I am so glad to get to be a part of leading an organization where people truly care and the work that we do is impactful. Thanks again to Reed Smith and to Steve Cooper for allowing us to use this space to host the benefit. Thank you to our honorees for your demonstrated commitment to our students. I know that they cannot achieve at such a high level without you, so thank you. But I'd also be remiss if I did not also mention those who are on the front lines day in and day out, day in, day out, on weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, late nights. There are also people who are not really on the front lines, but they are working hard behind the scenes to make sure that our organization is thriving and operating seamlessly. And that's our staff, and I just want to acknowledge them, acknowledge the work that you do. It can be a thankless job, but I want to say from the bottom of my heart that I see you and I thank you, even if the students don't ever thank you. I want to say thank you on their behalf. They just don't know that they need to thank you yet. But celebrations like our benefit remind us of the work, the worth of our work, and make us incredibly proud of the students who have stayed the course and have really put the work in to achieve success. But our benefit only takes place once per year. when everyone is moved and feeling generous. And then the 364 days following, we go back into the field, we encounter the needs, we see the gaps, and we know that there is yet more work to be done. So as you leave tonight, I encourage you to stay connected. And if you are not connected, I encourage you to plug into legal outreach. Whether you give, whether you sign up to become a mentor, whether you provide an opportunity through your firm or your company, or simply just spread the word, there is a space for you. You can scan the QR code that is up on the screen, it works. Or you can send an email and we will get you connected to the work that we do and the incredible students who we serve. Our auction and text to give will run until tomorrow. So you can still catch that Martha's Vineyard trip, the Giants tickets, Mark and Kelly tickets, and the baby racer, BMW racer. They are all available, and you can do that when you leave or at any time after or during the session. Again, I want to thank you for being in this place. I'm telling you, my heart is really full, and I feel the energy in this room, and I just thank you for being a part of something greater than you. Before we leave, there is a dessert reception. There are lots of fun things that you can interact with. We have our Wall of Stars out there. Our Wall of Stars is really our shout out to our partners and our sponsors, what they've done throughout the year. We have our students who are displayed, our seniors who are going to college this fall, where they're going, and some fun facts about our senior class, our timeline, our history. If you've been doing something with us for quite a while, you will see your name or your firm's name on our timeline somewhere there. So take a look around, enjoy this night. Thank you again, and get home safely.